Location can track your materials to be excavated and placed a couple different ways. So we can either track that by layer, or we can track it by material. So just looking at this, we can see that we have our subgrade cut being hatched in red. We can see we've got our subgrade fill being hatched in red, and we have this other material, surfacing volume 1, being hatched as that gray. Up here we can see we've got this dashed line. That dashed line is indicating our stripping extents. So, and then down here we've got a subsurface horizon that's being applied. And we can see that we've got two different cut slope angles being applied through that. So all those parameters are accounted for and are assigned by range. So for the stripping, I've got my stripping assigned in my site prep. For my different subsurface horizons and layers that we're working with there, I've got my sub-horizons assigned, and right here at 1269, you can see I'm at the end of the road where I've got 1.5 meters of hard pan over solid rock. So I've got that sectioned up along my road by chainage. And then my templates, in my templates, I'm telling it that my surfacing layer is 0.3 meters thick. We can assign fill types if we'd like for specific materials. So here I've got solid rock being applied through that section. And if we'd like, we could assign a specific material for surface volume 1. So right now, no material is being assigned for surface volume 1, and it is being tracked separately from the materials in the software. So to summarize that, we can see we've got our subsurface layers assigned along the road and our fill layers being used. We can look at that in a data table, so I'll configure the data table to show that. So I've got my point types. I want to look at my road summarized in 100-meter intervals. So I've got my auto interval 100 set here. And I'm going to add the columns that I'd like to see. So to start, I'll add in my stripping layer. I want to see my subgrade cut, subgrade fill, and my surface volume 1. I'll keep design totals on so I can see that summary at the bottom. Now with this, my stripping volume is going to be tracked as its own entity regardless. Surface volume 1 could be included in my material movement schedule and my Opti Haul volumes if I'd like. But my subgrade cut and fill, I'm probably going to want to know what's being cut for rock separate from what's being cut for my overburden. So we can add that in here. We'll expand on the columns. And down in volumes, Opti Haul, we can look at these in individual materials. So if I want to look at my hard pan cut volume and my solid rock cut volume, I'll add that in. I'll add my hard pan fill volume and my solid rock fill volume in there. And now we can see that in this road I am cutting 15,000 cubic meters of rock. I'm only cutting 4,000 cubic meters of hard pan, and we're filling with 9,000 cubic meters of that rock. If we'd like to include our surfacing in this fill volume, so assuming that my surfacing has to come from my solid rock layer, I can add that in here for other materials, and I'll tell the software that I want that to be made with my solid rock. And there, we can see that number jumped up. So we can track by layer, or we can track by the actual material that we're working with when we build the road.